Start.
Now.
Is this recording?
Yes, it is.
Welcome to the Crash the Pond podcast. Ducks Country. Let's fly. That's the theme of today, Jake. The Anaheim Ducks season is, 48 hours away? Something like that. Puck drop is Wednesday night against the Seattle Kraken, I believe.
Yeah, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. And yeah, this is already off to a smashing start.
This is really weird because...
This is very awkward.
We've done... The bulk of Jake and I's friendship has actually been done not in person. And so now we're doing a podcast in person, and we're working through the kinks. You know, we're just like the Ducks. We're working our way through.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird not hearing you through headphones.
Yeah.
And apologies if the audio is different than usual. There might be a little bit more of an echo. Trying our best to make this work on one mic, so we'll go from there. But yeah, this is awkward that I'm not staring at you through a screen.
Yeah, it is really strange. But we've actually got a lot to talk about, so we don't have a lot of time to really do the pleasantries here. I'm going to try to talk at the mic.
Yeah, I'm really struggling with that right now to not look at you. Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to hold my laptop up just so I remind myself to talk towards the mic.
There you go.
I'm going to position myself because there's nothing worse. Like, I don't know about you, but I've heard podcasts where they talk like in person, like with one mic. And when one person is a little quieter, it just drives me crazy.
That's going to happen on this episode. I have a gut feeling I'm going to be louder than you.
Yeah.
And I can't fix it like I normally do.
You're just louder than me in general.
That's 100% true.
Ducks Country, let's quack.
God damn.
Which one do you prefer? Be honest.
Well, the best part is you didn't realize that was actually a thing. Like, for anyone that didn't know, Max Jones, they put the Ducks at the start of training camp on media day.
Is Max Jones a Broncos fan?
No, I just think it was a meme.
Well, it is a meme because Russell Wilson's the corniest dude alive.
Yeah, it was just a meme that caught fire, and so everyone did it, including Max Jones.
I didn't even realize.
And then you started doing it today. I'm like, is this like a copy of Max Jones?
No.
Did you know this happened?
No. I'm late to the party.
Clearly.
Apologies.
Clearly.
Okay, but let's get into the topic of the day here. The Ducks have announced their opening night roster. And it was a pretty crazy preseason. There was a lot of speculation. We didn't know what was going to happen as Jake is pulling up Cap Friendly here. I have the roster in front of me, Jake. Don't worry.
Okay. I was just doing it for my own sake so I could look at it
so
also.
You can know what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you saying you're depending on Cap Friendly?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
100%.
So pretty much, I'm just going to run through the list here. The Ducks released it in this kind of weird order. Like one...
If you scroll up, click.
Oh, well, would you look at that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned. Okay. Oh, wow. You mean the Ducks website roster is accurate for once? That's crazy.
I think so. Do they have the A's on there? When I looked earlier, Jakob Silfverberg was the only A, I think.
Yeah.
Which I think must be left over from last season.
So we'll go down the list. And all the other kind of side topics will bring themselves to bear as we go through the roster. Max Comtois made the team. So, no surprise there. He had a good preseason, although he was banished to the third line. Basically, right now, playing with Isaac Lindstrom and Jakob Silfverberg is purgatory.
Should we wait to have that conversation for a bit? Okay.
Yes.
Because I could go off. You were trying to get me going there.
Yeah, I'm trying to bait you.
Yeah, 100%.
Derek Grant, well-deserved making of the team there. Adam Henrique, Max Jones, he is healthy. And here we go. The first new thing to talk about, Brett Leeson.
Yeah.
So just to kind of set the scene here, Glenn Gaudin was waived today, or did he clear today?
No. So they put him. The sequence of events was Brett Leeson. There was a massive amount of waivers yesterday, including, this is just kind of getting ahead of it, but Josh Mahura was put on waivers by the Ducks yesterday to clear up a roster, or not to clear up. To clear up a roster spot for the opening day roster. He did not make it through waivers. He was claimed by the Florida Panthers. So for those of you listening to this and haven't been able to pay attention today, Josh Mahura is no longer a Duck.
Yeah.
But then the Ducks also claimed Brett Leeson off of waivers from the Washington Capitals. And for those wondering about Brett Leeson, let me pull up just kind of his track record. I believe
he's 6'5".
But he's more like a Buddy Robinson 6'5". No, I saw someone make that comparison, and I'm like, that makes sense because he's not really like a fighter. And
he's a power forward, is how he's been described to me by Caps fans. Because he was a second round pick, I believe, in 2019, and doesn't really have crazy offensive stats.
It's not even like, and like the first thing I went to was like people want to say, oh, maybe it's a big guy to become an enforcer. He hasn't really fought in his career.
He's the big guy who can play, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But if you look at his RAPM chart for last season, he actually had decent defensive results, albeit in a small sample. I think it was like 300-ish minutes. But he's potentially capable defensively, and I think he's 23. So there's maybe still a little upside there with Brett Lees. And so kind of, I mean, I don't want to say that it's like it's not a bad move. It's just a bit of a kind of like, okay, let's see how this turns out.
It's kind of more just feels, we kind of rode Bob Murray hard for this. It feels like just kind of like a shuffling of the deck chairs move.
Yes.
And while granted, we should definitely call it out for that. I think it's one thing to have shuffling of the deck chair trades. It's another thing to have it as waiver claims. I think it makes it a little... Because that's what you're doing with the waiver claim, essentially. You're doing that. And if we're comparing him to a Glenn Godden, who doesn't really have any NHL experience, which is essentially how this worked out. The Ducks claimed Brett Leeson, to get back to kind of the original point of all this. The Ducks claimed Brett Leeson, and then as a result of that, because when you claim someone, you then have to have them on your NHL roster. You can't send them to the minors. This is an NHL pickup, because if the Ducks put him on waivers... and he clears, then the Capitals can actually take him back, having cleared waivers, put him in the minors. And so, as a result of this, though, the Ducks needed to take one guy off the current roster, and that ended up being Glenn Godden, who was a name, quite frankly, I did not expect to be on the opening night roster.
No?
So,
why not?
The fact that he was even this close was a little bit shocking to me. But, so Glenn Godden looks like not on the opening night roster. Brett Leeson is. That's kind of the way this shook out from that perspective.
Yeah, and so Brett Leeson, again, seems to be like maybe a fourth liner, like a fourth line upgrade.
Yeah.
Is he an upgrade over Jakob Silfverberg? Is that the new litmus test for do you belong in the lineup?
I mean, I think we really need to see how Silfverberg does through the beginning of the season.
When the games matter?
Yeah, but... in preseason,
he looked bad.
He looked a step slow, and really looked like he's falling behind. And I mean, I've seen a lot of. I feel like
he wasn't terrible last year.
We'll get into the full third line talk a little bit later, but I feel like on Twitter, a lot of what I was getting in my mentions when I would mention Lundestrom, a lot of people would say, well, he's tied to Silfverberg, and a lot of Silfverberg discussion, and a lot of people kind of mentioning the fact, well, he just doesn't look like he has it anymore, different things like that, and. I think what this is emblematic of is aging curves and kind of what we really drive home when we talk about those aging curves. Sure, there's going to be guys that buck the trend like an Adam Henrique, but when you're dealing with aging curves, sure, people can say injuries, but that's what happens as you get older and you're playing such a physical, such a rough game like hockey. And this is what's happened. He's had hip injuries. He's had all these different issues that have popped up. And it's hard to fully come back from that. And that's what happens when you age. He
had a blood clot last season.
It's rough, and it's not his fault. It's just what happens, and his body is starting to break down, and it's noticeable on the ice. And so I'm very curious to see how Silfverberg is able to perform once the season begins, and if he maintains this trend, what they end up doing with him. Because I think he's someone they respect too much to put on waivers, but I'm not sure what else you can really do with him at that point in time.
I just want to point out that while Jake gave that whole,
I forgot that I had this.
That well-explained point. He had the wrestling channel.
That wasn't even on purpose. I was trying to figure out what the notification was. Then I started going off. But yes, wrestling is always open for me.
I guess, wrestling 24/7. It's all good. Yeah, so we kind of inadvertently did a Silfverberg bit there in our Lundestrom discussion.
Scoot a little bit closer to me so you're not fully blocked or off camera.
Okay. Am I...
You're good.
Is that issue? Okay.
You're good. You can see the camera also.
Brett Leeson is on the team. Isaac Lundestrom is on the team. Mason McTavish. I mean, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't have a really notable preseason, but for him, I'm not judging him off of preseason.
Well, also he was hurt. Like, he was coming off an ankle injury, and I think that is something that is noteworthy because... And I think that's going to be something that's noteworthy to start the season also because ankle injuries are tough to come back from. And they take more than just a week to fully recover. Even if you're healthy enough to play, I don't know if you've ever had an ankle injury. I have playing hockey.
I've rolled my ankle. Doing non-athletic things. Does that count?
Sure. Have you tried playing hockey afterwards and skating afterwards?
No. Or maybe. I don't know.
It sucks. And it's hard. Even in that type of stiff boot, it's still really hard to get the feel back of your skate and to really feel like you can really drive through a crossover and everything along those lines with how much you use your ankle. And so it's going to take some time for him to really be able to get back into the game, even if he is healthy enough to play. So I think maybe that's something for everyone out there to maybe temper your expectations the first 5, 6, 7 games for him as he's coming back from that.
Well, it also depends who he's playing with. Which, should we open that can of worms?
Let's just finish the opening day roster.
Okay. Pavel Regenda made the team.
Yeah.
Who I called it all along. Pavel Regenda.
Wait. So now we've hit the point where you're saying that enough where I think people believe you.
Yeah, it's great.
And are not remembering that you were the person that was like the most against him.
If a motivated individual cared enough, they could go back and find the receipts, and I would be held accountable.
I don't think anyone has enough motivation.
I mean, I hope not. It's just not that important. But yeah, Pavel Regenda made the team, and he had a good preseason. He posted really strong on ice numbers by natural statistics count. He had a 58.2 expected goals for percentage, which is really good. And I don't know what his counting stats were. Someone kind of sarcastically commented on Twitter like, "Oh, he scored some real goals too." But the thing with goals and assists in preseason, it's a small sample. That's a little harder to know if it'll be repeatable. But his on-ice play and the impact he was having, that is more repeatable. And that's what's exciting to me.
That picture you just had up on your computer, Felix has his laptop in his hand. He has some really nice flow.
Can I get this?
I don't know if it's...
No.
Well, just Google Pavel Regenda. And
yeah, he's got some... He's young. I mean, he's 22.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, if he becomes an NHLer and is one for, I don't know, 5, 6 years...
Yeah.
Like, this is a great depth signing, and maybe we should eat some crow.
Yeah, I don't have to eat crow because I've been on, the Regenda hive all along. So... no issues there for me. Jakob Silfverberg has made the team. We've already talked about that. Ryan Strome, no surprise. Troy Terry, he managed to make it. Wow. He's proven himself finally. Frank Vetrano, Trevor Zegras, number 11 now, made the team after a weird preseason for him, really. He got injured. Probably shouldn't have played the last preseason game, did.
I disagree with that, but we will move on.
I'm really only bringing things up just to potentially stir up a debate. Okay, moving down the list. Ooh.
You are still off camera.
Oh, god damn it. Can you No, we can't move the camera. I was going to say. I'm gonna try to...
We can scoot back a little, but then we're further away from the microphone.
Well, then we're both further away from the microphone.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay. So Nathan Beaulieu is on the team, and... boy, I did not think I'd be uttering those words, a few months ago.
Should we just briefly bring this up? Do you think that he was signed because of Vakanainen getting hurt?
So, yes and no. Yes and no. Because
You said it.
Huh?
Nothing.
Yes and no, because on one hand, yes, it did coincide with the injury, but also... they had other guys that they could have given that job to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was accelerated by the injury, but doesn't explain the signing entirely.
Let me rephrase it. If Vakanainen never gets hurt, is Nathan Beaulieu signed to this contract?
That's a good question. I'm going to say yes. Yes.
I'm going to go with no.
Because
actually.
Colton White. Is Colton White on... This is about Colton White.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Is Colton White on this team?
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing that's
Colton
weird.
White is on this team, by the way.
Yeah, that's the weird thing is Colton White, who if you would have told me Colton White made this team when the Ducks... first off, I don't remember when the Ducks signed Colton White.
No, me neither. I think it was this offseason, actually.
I think it happened on a random week, and
we just didn't care.
No, because I assumed AHLer. And turns out Colton White made the Ducks team. Yeah. Most likely as the 8th defenseman.
Yeah.
But...
might play.
I mean, I think that goes to show that if Vakanainen was healthy, Beaulieu would have been signed as a 7th or 8th defenseman.
And I think Colton White would be in the AHL.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at Colton White's numbers. This last game that he played, what would it have been? The game at home against the Kings. Which, by the way, I want to talk about that. well, we should just talk about both games. Might as well.
Should we?
Once we get through this. But Colton White, I think, outside of that game, had some pretty good numbers in the preseason.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to pull them up right now. Because Natural Stat Trick's the only one that has...
I've got it right here.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Where is he? I could have sworn that he had a good preseason, but I could be wrong. Let's see. No, he had a good one. About 50% expected goals, 4%. Granted, I think that a lot of that was dragged down by the final game that he played with Shattenkirk, where they were just getting torched by the Kings.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, this was a guy that was really off the radar. Maybe as someone that could play a couple games. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to say.
Wouldn't spend too much time on that. Simon Benoit, I mean, hey, close call for him, all things considered, because Josh Mahura, we hardly knew you. He is gone. So
real quick on the Josh Mahura thing.
Yeah.
So first off, want to mention this. There have been some people that said we railed against Bob Murray and asset management. This definitely falls in line with that.
Yeah.
I think one thing I can add to this that's a little bit of a different part of the conversation is I think part of this is Pat Verbeek getting out guys that aren't his guys. And
Fair.
I think Josh Mahura wasn't a guy he drafted. That was a Bob Murray draft. And granted, I mean, we said it, it's still a Martin Madden draft, but it's not his guy, and he may not love the player or really care that much about the player. And at this point in time, Josh Mahura may not be an NHLer, and he probably tried to trade him and decided putting him on waivers. Now, having said that, he got through a lot of the waiver claims to get all the way down to Florida.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Florida, were they going off of last? Like how
they go off last season's standings.
So, Florida won the President's Trophy, right?
Yeah.
So he had to go through the entire list.
Mm-hmm. And Florida claimed him. So that just goes to show where kind of his stock was out throughout the league.
But Florida's a smartish team.
But there's a lot of really smart teams in this league that didn't want to take a chance on him on an ELC contract.
But someone did, and a good team took a chance on him.
Yeah.
So I don't think Josh, I think there's become this weird narrative, and maybe it's not weird, but there has become a narrative that Josh Mahura is not good, and that it was time. And I still don't fully believe that.
I just don't think we've seen enough.
Right,
in good spots.
I still don't really know what he is in the NHL because it's just been so all over the place. When he gets called up, he gets some games and then he gets sent back. Right, there's never any consistency, and I don't know. I'm not ready to write him off. I'm not saying he's going to be good, but the fact that they waived him, that they signed Nathan Beaulieu instead, really.
And he wasn't really put in a spot to succeed last year.
Right.
Having played with Kevin Shattenkirk, who was not good last year at 5-on-5. So I don't know if we really know what he is at this point in time. So I don't necessarily like the decision to waive him when we don't know what he is. But I also think that there is, some logic to it when you look at it from the perspective of he's not one of his guys.
Yeah.
And I think that this is something that's important to bring up. The Ducks are stocked on defense in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So you lose a Josh Mahura for nothing, it's not going to hurt you.
No, I mean, that's the thing, when we talk about all these decisions, with Beaulieu and with Mahura, we're not trying to say that these are big time back-breaking decisions. It's just more looking at the thought process behind it. And that is the instructive part. And so for Mahura, for me, the value is to keep him on the team, to let him play through kind of these struggles, and maybe if you're well stocked on the back end for the future, trade him, recoup his value. I just don't know what the...
Well, it's the Max Comtois argument that we've had, right?
Yeah.
About put him in spots to succeed, let him recoup value, and then you move him. You can't move him after last year with the year that he had. You have to put him in spots to thrive so that he can score goals and rebuild his value.
Yeah, again, this whole Beaulieu thing, I just don't understand it. Truthfully, he is not a good NHL defenseman. He hasn't ever been. He was drafted years and years ago now, and I just don't really understand what the Ducks organization sees in him. And now, there's a very real chance he's going to play.
Because, that was the argument we had last week, right?
He played in the final preseason game.
We'll have to see how they... I think Benoit's a much better option than him.
Yes. Well, anyone is a better option than him.
I think
that's the thing.
I said this kind of tongue-in-cheek in our Discord today, but I think, playing 5 defensemen would be better than playing 6 defensemen if that 6th defenseman is Nathan Beaulieu.
I just think people don't really quite understand how bad Nathan Beaulieu is. Like his stats his underlying numbers are just
his underlying numbers in preseason are not good either.
No, like
he's at 22% expected goals for percentage.
Yeah.
Which also we probably should say the only players worse than him are Jakob Silfverberg and that made the team and Mason McTavish.
I mean, it's actually comical how bad he's been over the last 3 years. Playing in Winnipeg, maybe that has something to do with it, but it's just been a while now. I mean, if you go back maybe a little further in time, he was playing in Buffalo, still bad. If you go further back in time, I mean, you have to basically go back to like 2017 to see any evidence that Beaulieu is just not terrible.
Yeah. Tony is chiming in, by the way, about we need to stop the Silfverberg slander.
I mean, is it slander to say that he's just...
Well, is it slander to just state his stat?
Right. Like we didn't make him do that. We didn't make him play like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, a little sidetrack there. Jamie Drysdale made the team, number 6. Looking nice there with the number 6. Cam Fowler, John Klingberg, Dmitry Kulikov, Kevin Shattenkirk, Vakanainen on IR. Colton White, which we covered, and then Gibson and Stolars. So there it is. There's your 22-23 Anaheim Ducks. I don't know, like anything else in this roster before we kind of move forward here. Is this a playoff team? Like what do you think of this team like right now? Because of course, I mean, keep in mind, opening night, it's not going to be the roster like the entire season. Might not mean the roster a month from now. In some respects, but like, is this a playoff team? Because
I think they're fringe.
The models, the statistical models, have been resoundingly not in agreement that this is a playoff team.
I think they're not, but they're close. And I think the reason for that is I think they're lacking the quality depth that you need.
They don't have depth.
They don't have depth. They do have the high-end talent that can score. And I think they're going to be an entertaining team that can score. Mm-hmm. But the issue is going to be when those 3rd and 4th line are on the ice. And here's the thing. If that 4th line of Regenda, Grant, and Jones
is any good,
like they were not good. I think it was the game on Saturday, but in the game on Tuesday they were excellent.
Right.
And not only did Max Jones score a bunch of goals, Regenda scored also, but they were also controlling play at 5-on-5, which was really impressive. If they can be that, and it's really just the 3rd line that's getting caved in, that makes a big difference for this team.
Yeah.
And I think puts them in a much more solid position where if this Lundestrom line is honestly the 4th line from a minutes perspective...
It won't be, though.
No, but...
It will not be.
Fair. But if Regent... But, I mean...
Derek Grant could outplay these guys.
That's but my point on this is that I don't think that... I think the Zegras line and the Strome line are going to play a bunch.
Yeah.
I think that's going to happen regardless.
Yeah.
And I think as much as we give Dallas Eakins flack, I think he's not completely blind. And if he sees
high praise.
If he sees the Regenda, Grant, Jones line going significantly, he's going to play them more than the Lundestrom line.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's just where it's going to go. And so I think if that's the case, the Ducks are in a decent spot. I think the strengths for this Ducks team is the high-end talent, which is interesting because that's something that they haven't had in years past.
What if Leeson plays?
Where does Leeson play?
Does he play? I mean, he's a right winger, supposedly.
Where does he play? I think that they're really... Dallas Eakins is really high on Pavel Regenda.
I mean, as he should be. Regenda's played well, yeah.
And it seems like he wants to keep that line together because
let's go through it. I mean, let's just go through
it. I think for sure the first line is going to be Vetrano, Zegras, Henrique.
Yeah.
I think the second line is going to be some form of either Comtois or McTavish along with Strome and Terry.
Yes. So this is going to get out a dilemma for this lineup, but keep going.
And then you have whoever's on that line from Comtois, McTavish with Lundestrom and then
Silfverberg.
That would be the only spot I could see Leeson at.
Yeah. And then your 4th line, Jones, Grant, Regenda, but maybe Jones or Regenda kind of cycle in and out.
But the only thing that I struggle with is that, Jones has played well. I mean, he's primarily a left wing but can play the right side. Regenda is also a left wing that can play the right side. So there's a whole lot of question marks there. But I don't really know where Leeson factors in necessarily unless it's just a guy that
an extra
body that can fill in when they need him. But it doesn't really seem apparent unless they are going to scratch Silfverberg. I mean, I don't see them doing it.
Can he play every game right now? Like, it just seems... I mean, I feel like we're almost being like writing him off too quickly. Like, well, let's at least let him play some real games.
Yeah, that's fair.
But the issue with this lineup, this team right now, outside of depth, is just that they've kind of married themselves to this way of constructing the roster, where you have Lundestrom as your third line center, McTavish as a winger, and it creates this dilemma where now McTavish and Comtois, being the two kind of offensive left wingers that ideally are playing in an offensive top six role, one of them gets knocked down to that third line, and then you're stuck with Lundestrom and Silverberg, who aren't giving you anything offensively, and then you've got your energy fourth line. So it's just, I feel like there's a better version of this roster. I don't know how much better it is, but I don't know. Even just the fact that McTavish is not playing at center, that just kind of seems to be a.
It's one of those things where it's. I think he's in a much better spot if he's playing with Strome and Terry.
Yeah.
But I think you want him playing his natural position. It actually was an interesting quote from Ryan Strome. I think he did a Q&A with Athletic where Eric Stevens gave him some questions from fans, and one of them was actually about his time with the Islanders and what happened after one of the seasons they made the playoffs and they fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And he said one of the things that he struggled with personally was moving to wing.
Yeah, shocker.
Because he's like, I wasn't playing my natural position.
Yeah.
And it was just really interesting that the contrast between that quote and what the Ducks have done. And how it's not putting their guys in positions to succeed. And it's just funny to me that that's happening. That's a side note. But yeah, I think McTavish playing center is what they realistically should be doing. And I think the issue overall with the roster, getting back really quickly, I wanted to say this. I think the big strength of this roster is the high end talent.
Yeah,
and that's something they have not had in years past, both on the from the forwards and the blue line. Having John Klingberg,
he looks good.
Klingberg Fowler as a pairing, could be one of the best pairings in the league, and I'm not even being hyperbolic when I say that.
They could, yeah.
They have been excellent in preseason. They have controlled play. They have pushed play the other way, created offense while not giving up chances the other way.
Yeah.
They've been excellent as a defense
and you can just see with Klingberg that dimension that he brings. They just haven't had that.
And you can see that both him and Fowler read off each other really well.
Yeah.
And they both play a game a similar way. And they both defend in similar ways that they... Essentially, their whole thing is they just need to get the puck and then the other team's not going to get it back.
Yeah.
In the D zone, which is what you want.
That power play, by the way, looks really good.
Oh, that first unit power play?
Yeah.
What was it?
Terry, McTavish, was Zegras out there?
Zegras, Strome, Klingberg.
Yeah. Man, that puck was just pinging around.
Sorry, we're sidetracking a lot now. But,
that's fine.
But that power play, I have not seen a Ducks power play look that dangerous.
No.
In a long time.
And it looks like seamless.
Well, and it's something that we've talked about so much with this power play. And even last year when people would say that the power play was better, we've gone over so many times that it wasn't actually better from an underlying metric perspective when you looked at where the shots were coming from, everything like that. But you look at this power play and you look at what makes a power play successful and what was causing the Ducks issue the last couple of years. And I've mentioned this so many times on previous podcasts, but you need to either have fast puck movement or you need to have bodies that aren't stationary in order to get lanes to open up in the penalty killers and to also get the goalie to move. And so you need to find soft space on the ice and have quick puck movement to get everyone moving and out of position. And the thing that was so beneficial for that first unit, they did both.
Yeah.
If you notice, guys were moving. They weren't moving a lot, but they would move into that little soft space in the ice that would be opened up by the quick passes. Mm-hmm. And that's what you want, those quick movements where if a penalty killer has turned his back because of the quick puck movement and they turn back, the player's not in that same spot and it's hard to defend that. And that's what was so beneficial for that. And I mean, the second unit fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
They should just play that first unit the entire time, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm curious what they do there with the split. Because last year was very, almost not even egalitarian.
They tried to spread the wealth.
Yeah, it was almost like, okay, power play 1 gets 45 seconds, and then we're going with this 2D.
Well, even the units they tried to spread. They didn't load up like this.
Right. I think that that first unit, the fact that they're able to get that puck going laterally, like that's the big thing to me, is that they were, if you watch the Ducks power plays of years past, it was always just around the perimeter. Mm-hmm. Never really, like you said, getting the goalie to move, and now they're able to do that. We'll see if it carries over.
Yeah.
I mean, they've only played like 2 teams, basically.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's a good sign.
Back to the point on that is that
the roster construction's, I think, suboptimal, right?
Correct. And so I think that they have the high
lineup
skill level.
Construction.
They have the high skill level, but the issue comes with Dallas Aikens is trying to
It's a tale of two teams up front right now.
Well, I think we are a little bit early right now. They have not played one game.
It's going to manifest itself.
It will. Like, we've seen this before.
Like we've seen these lines. I mean, not like the bottom 6 we've essentially seen.
Yeah, but the way I always put it is it's trying to force a square peg into a round hole.
Right.
With this third line, and you look at the numbers for Lundestrom and Silverberg, whether it's Comtois, whether it's McTavish, whether, honestly, it's Lundestrom with McTavish and Rocco Grimaldi. Like, the numbers are not...
Oh, you brought up Rocco Grimaldi.
We'll get to that. The numbers aren't good
R.I.P.
for those guys. And I think there's one kind of connecting piece through all those lines, and that's Isaac Lundestrom and his inability. And I don't think he's been good at getting the puck out of the zone, which is one of the few things he was good at last year.
Yeah.
And once it gets in the offensive zone, it just dies and comes back the other way.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what they can do with Isaac Lundestrom outside of putting him in a fourth line role, because as of right now, Max Comtois, I thought, has had a really good preseason.
Yeah, you've been driving that bus, and I honestly haven't watched enough of the games to say.
The game against LA in Anaheim, where it was Comtois, Strome, Terry, that line was dominant.
Yeah, you were mentioning that, yeah.
That line was absolutely dominant.
His on-ice numbers are pitiful, though,
really?
In the preseason, yeah.
I wonder if that has to do...
35.7.
I wonder if that has to do mainly with... Well, here's the issue.
I mean, these are how many games is it?
Here's the issue with that. He played the last game with Lundestrom and Silverberg, and they had like a one.
They had one shot attempt.
They had one shot attempt. It was like 3% expected goals for percentage.
Yeah, and these are all small samples.
And so I think overall he's looked good. I mean, in the game I was at, he looked very dangerous in front of that. He had a really nice backhand.
Yeah, had that goal.
Shelf goal on the power play, and it just is odd because the game against LA, and it's preseason, so they could just be trying stuff out. But he wasn't on the power play, but he was on the penalty kill.
Right.
And it was just... It's odd that, like...
Wait, he was on the penalty kill?
Yeah, he was on the penalty kill against the Kings.
Wow. Well, I feel like... the whole thing with him is they're probably trying to get him to be this, like, responsible
But it's just
player.
not... It's not understanding what your player is, right? Like, that's the issue there is... Like, it's trying to force a player to be not what he is instead of putting him in a position to do what he does best.
I'm just cracking up at our chat right now with the T-Fordisms.
Oh, yeah. It's going. We should, by the way, move on to our ad read. And we'll get back to all this.
Yeah, why don't you...
Yeah. So, guess what, fellas? The boys are buzzing because hockey's back. Want to know what else is buzzing? The Lawnmower 4.0 from our friends at Manscaped. They're the global leading in male grooming. Don't get chirped this year for having a Jumbo Joe bush below the waist. Join the Manscaped movement and the other 6 million men who trust Manscaped for all your hairiest grooming needs. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CTP at manscaped.com. So Felix, I'm in love with my Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. Included in that is the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, and formulations and 2 free gifts. This package is the perfect package to help you put the D in your defense, Felix. Wow. This 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. You don't take a penalty below the waist. Playoff beards are meant for your face, not your pants. And this package also comes with the Weed Whacker to chop the worst weeds up top in both your nose and ear. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof and uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual blade system. The nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps you prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes.
Tugs?
Yep, tugs. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts. Are you kidding me? This includes their Shed travel bags. Keep all your goodies stored comfortably. And the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs are also included and will bring your boxer game to the next level. So you can get 20% off with free shipping with the code CTP at manscaped.com. Don't be a goon and fight your bush with the other guys. Choose Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code CTP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code CTP. Don't get denied pipe this season and shave your pants pucks with the right tools for the job.
What?
All right.
What?
Also, this episode is brought to you by True Classic. It's sports season, baby, and our sponsor, True Classic,
has everything you need to make the most of that lineup. Whether you have abs of steel or a soft, cream-filled center, finding the right shirt can be terrible. Most t-shirts are too tight in all the wrong places or way too big and boxy, but not True Classic. This is the brand with the softest, flattering, and most comfortable t-shirt of the year. Athletes may have jerseys, but we have True Classic. True Classic is the one-stop shop for your favorite casual crew necks, polos, and activewear. And I'm telling you, they give all those expensive brands out there a run for their money. These are the uniforms you need in your closet. They do the styling, you do the wearing. It's that simple. So, touchdown! True Classic has already helped over 2 million men get their fit on at an affordable price. So we want to hook you up with some True Classic for a limited time only. Get 25% off with the code CTP at True Classic. So guys, you're wearing the wrong clothes. Time to level up. Highlight your greatest assets with the t-shirt you can confidently throw on. Whether you're at the gym or you've had one too many beers, you need True Classic. They use a foolproof, perfect fit formula so all guys can look and feel their best around the clock. Their tees are snug around the arms and chest to make your muscles pop. And they are leave a little wiggle room in the torso just for a little extra comfort. And I'm telling you, these shirts are awesome. So do us all a favor. Show us your arms with their activewear crew necks. They're sun, sweat, and stink wicking. Plus, they look amazing. So guys, don't drop the ball. Upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with the code CTP. Free shipping included on purchases over $100. That's 25% off at trueclassic.com with code CTP. Strengthen your core wardrobe with True Classic today.
That was amazing. I don't know how you got through that.
Yeah, people want you to read the next Manscaped ad read with the same enthusiasm that I do.
I think you got it. I think you nailed it.
You don't want to talk.
What the heck is a tug?
You don't want a tug in your ear hole because of the hair. Or your nose.
But I don't understand, why would that be a bad thing? Don't you want to tug it out?
No, because it's supposed to clip it. It's not supposed to trim it.
Remind me never to say tug it out
Yeah.
on the show ever again. There was another thing that was confusing in there.
The pipe?
Well, anyway. We're going to move.
Oh, we should have Bonnie do one ad read and send it to us.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, we have to vet it first, though.
Yeah.
I feel like she might throw in some audibles.
I'll send you something, Bonnie.
Yeah. Okay.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, the inefficiencies with the lineup constructions.
Oh, yeah, so getting back to that, actually...
Yeah, yes.
Getting back to that tug on the lineup.
A more wholesome topic.
That tug on the roster.
Yeah, don't tug it off.
No, the issue is that at this point in time, like, the bottom... I mean, honestly, the entire roster just kind of needs to be rethunk. Rethunk. That's probably not a word. Bonnie's gonna come after me.
Is thunk a word? Actually, it might be.
I don't know.
But keep talking. I'll thunk about it.
But at this point in time, like, the way they're doing it, while I get it, they're loading up the top six. We've said they have the talent.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. But at this point in time, you have a Max Comtois. You have actually the scoring depth where you have
some depth.
Like a guy that could be a top six on a lot of teams. Granted, fringe top six, but right there. And he's going to be playing on your third line. And while doing that, you're going to be putting him in a spot where he's going to be able to contribute no offense at all. And so I think it's time to basically spread the wealth out. Maybe you have take someone off one of those top two lines, put him on that third line. Maybe you look at calling someone up from like a Jacob Perron, giving them a shot. I don't think that's going to happen, but these are the ways like you can go about restructuring and reforming this roster so that you can make it where guys are going to be put in positions to thrive. Because to be quite honest, I feel really bad for Max Comtois right now.
Wow.
Because if this is the line he's going to be on, while I think a lot of the metrics we look at,
I think they'll flip
no,
back
but I think that while the metrics that we look at do a good job of isolating for lineup.
Oh, here we go. That the stats have it wrong on Max Comtois.
No, but I think it's just something to be considered. But I think Max Comtois' numbers were not good. But he was also thrown all around last season.
Yeah,
and I think
he was tugged around.
Yeah, there you go.
Hate when that happens.
I think that putting him on a line with Lundestrom and Silverberg is going to do him no favors.
How does that look?
Yeah, it's not good. I just said that it wasn't good.
I'm showing Jake the stats.
Yeah, I said that. I agreed.
Like if you go season by season with Comtois, he has 1 year, which was the COVID year, where he was okay.
Let me ask you this. How much of that offense do you think is driven by the fact that he was playing with a guy that did not distribute the puck in the offensive zone to him at all?
You're talking about last season.
Correct.
Like
it can correct for line mates as best you can.
Yeah.
But if he's in a spot where he's playing with an Isaac Lundestrom, who once he gets in the offensive zone does not distribute pucks in a way that is going to create offense for a team, for a line mate, that is going to impact Max Comtois' ability to create expected goals for.
Yes. So I think Comtois needs to play with someone who can get him the puck because he is not a play connector.
Correct.
He is not a guy who's going to kind of create offense around him. And his off-puck game is not so good that he can just kind of fit into any line. He needs to play with someone that can support him. So I get your point. Your point is well taken. And I don't think it's a wrong point. But I also think we shouldn't ignore the fact that he wasn't good.
No.
It's a balancing act. And so...
Well, that's why I'm saying I feel bad for him because he's being put in a position where he's going to put up those same numbers.
Yeah.
And instead of looking at the actual issue at the line, I think a lot of people, from what we've seen in our mentions, a lot of comments from the team and the coaching staff and everything like that, a lot of it focuses in on him, and none of it goes to the actual issue with the line.
Right.
And I think that's my concern. And someone in our Twitch chat just put, I'd love to see a third line of Comtois, Henrique, Perreault, and you move Lundestrom to the fourth line.
Yeah. So
and you basically put Lundestrom on that fourth line instead of Derek Grant.
Yeah, so I was actually reading an article today by Mitch Brown on EP Rinkside, Elite Prospects, who we've had on the show, friend of the show. And he was saying he doesn't think Perreault's all the way there NHL ready yet.
Probably not.
So I do put some stock into that. But yeah, I would rather see what Jacob Perreault can do.
Hell, sign Rocco Grimaldi. By the way, Rocco Grimaldi, weird, they haven't announced...
We don't actually know.
No, they haven't released him from his PTO. He was at practice today.
Yeah.
But still has not been signed. So, yeah, I don't know. I like even a Rocco Grimaldi on that line, right? Comtois, Henrique, Grimaldi.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I guess the only thing is what do you do with the Zegras line? Vetrano, Zegras.
Regenda.
Yeah, and then you kind of shift the fourth line around a little bit.
No,
that's the issue is when we get into this situation, you kind of end up...
There aren't that many great alternatives to what they're doing now.
I mean, you could also put Comtois, leave the top six the same, put Comtois there, put McTavish on that third line.
Yeah.
And then
I think that's the play.
You put a Grimaldi there and a Regenda there.
Yeah, I think so. If we were to do it, your top pairing or top line would be Henrique, Zegras, Vetrano.
Sure. Let's just work under the construction that we have to keep those three together, and you have to keep Strome and Terry together.
Yeah, Strome and Terry, and then X player, whoever that is. And then on your third line, you have Comtois with McTavish at center.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And then I feel like
Grimaldi.
from there... Yeah, and then from there, you can just figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Regenda. I guess I've been saying it's a hard G.
Hard G?
Okay.
Who said... Oh, Bonnie's saying that?
Yeah, I trust
Bonnie. Is that the English pronunciation? Because keep in mind, this is a Slovakian name. So English pronunciation conventions don't
If Connor's in the Twitch chat, I trust
Connor
him.
is the resident Slovak here.
Yeah.
So
we'll trust him. But no.
But I think like having McTavish with Comtois would actually work well because
Comtois a transition monster and can get puck into dangerous spots.
Yes, and McTavish is really like he's a great play connector. He's really good at the give and goes.
Connor's saying hard G.
Oh, damn it. Regenda.
There we go.
Darn, there goes my Regenda agenda.
Regenda agenda?
Yeah, Regenda. What else?
Regenda agenda.
Well, sure. Okay. Well, so there are ways to make this lineup more interesting, but I think all things considered, we'll see. We'll just have to see. Maybe if the fourth line is good for a fourth line, and
hell, if they're good for like good at a third line, if they're able to do what they did in that game, and I'm just gonna go pull up that game right now. If they're able to do what they were able, one game sample. So
yeah, I'm getting dragged for my pronunciation.
I mean, you should be getting dragged.
Did I just assume someone's pronunciation? Oh well.
100%.
Sorry.
Let's see as this pulls up. But if that line can keep up, come on.
We don't always doubt Bonnie.
They put up an 81% expected goals for percentage in that game.
Yeah.
And so if they can continue to do that over the course of that game, granted they
did play like a fourth line in terms of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can do that and become a viable option for this team, and you only have one line that's really a drag, that's a big plus.
That's an upgrade. Yeah,
that's a big upgrade.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think that this forward lineup, not how we would do it, but there's still a chance that it'll be okay.
Well, and we saw it in both the games against the Kings, and this is maybe something to talk about briefly, is that they put up points. Like, they scored goals.
Which we'll see how, I don't think that's going to sustain.
No, I don't think they're going to score 5 and 6 goals a game.
You don't think so?
But I think they're going to be able to put up 3-4 goals.
Oh, you're talking about team-wide?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about
the line?
Fourth line.
No. I'm not talking about the fourth line. I'm just talking about in the whole, so they put up 3 goals in LA. They put up 5 goals at home against LA.
Right.
Game before that, granted 1 goal, but they put up 4 against the Sharks. Like, this is a team that's going to be potent offensively, especially if teams take penalties against them.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to make teams pay on the power play.
Yeah.
And so, I think they're going to be an exciting team. I think it's going to be a team that's also going to give up a lot of goals. I don't think that
John Gibson, we should talk about that briefly.
That is where I was about to go with it. I don't think that these 2 games against the Kings were a mirage from that perspective with both Stolarz.
Well, now he's hurt.
Well, both Stolarz and Gibson let up a bunch of goals.
Yeah, but I think Stolarz has shown he can be better than that.
Yeah, and it's preseason, so who knows when he's fully up to speed. But
yeah,
I mean, Gibson did not look good.
And he's not concussed.
No, they said not a head injury.
No, okay.
So that's a good thing.
There's something. He
was pulled from the game. He's not on IR, so I would and Dostal has not been called up.
So he's probably playing. He's probably fine.
Yeah, but they pulled him and they said upper body injury.
Yeah.
So he may be good enough to play, and it may have just been a precaution. Who knows what it is, but
he looked awful in that game.
He did not.
Some of the worst. I mean, I should say some of the worst he's ever looked. But he was that bad at times last year too. Remember the game against Nashville?
Everyone was focusing on that first power play, which, by the way, the Kings did get a shit ton of chances, and Gibson was really good to not allow a goal because I think
he had the one miraculous save.
I think the expected goals on that power play for the Kings was 1.21.
Right.
But you can't just have a 2-minute period of being amazing and then allow a bunch of goals that you shouldn't have allowed.
Right.
And have it be an acceptable performance.
I really feel like that first period, that was the John Gibson experience of the last 3 years. In one nice summary. Amazing and then terrible. And, man, those long-distance shots with no screen.
That's the concern, right? Because I think you look at a lot of his save percentage, and granted, it's preseason, so who knows? There's all that caveat and all of this. But when you look at his save percentages, really what's concerning is the low danger save percentage that he has throughout the years. And that it's those goals that end up going in and they end up really tanking him. And that was kind of what happened here. You look at the second and third goal that came against. The second goal came on a guy that basically was, he did not see the puck and went in. It was really odd and awkward and should have been an easy save. And the third goal, while granted was a perfect shot from a guy coming down the wing.
Yeah.
Well, no, it goes top corner, perfect corner.
Sure.
But he should be in a spot where he's able to cut off that angle and take away that shot.
It was pretty long distance.
Long distance from a sharp angle. It should be something. And so I think there is concern after the season that he had last year. He was not good at the end of the year.
No, and the thing is, he let in goals like this last year in the regular season. Remember the game against Nashville where he lets in a slap shot goal from the blue line, just coming down the wing, no screen. We've seen this. That's the thing. If people want to say, oh well, he's just not trying in a preseason game. Has he been trying in the regular season? Because this is kind of how he's looked too in the regular season. So I don't know. I think that this is going to be the best environment John Gibson has had in the last 3 years, and so I think there is a very real chance that he'll be good this season, or at least better than he's been, and can exceed those expectations. But we just haven't seen it. It's just one of those things where you got to show me at this point that you can be quote unquote John Gibson again, because he hasn't been that. He just has not been that the last 3 years, and there is a pretty big contingent of people for example on Twitter and even the general kind of hockey community that still views John Gibson as an elite level guy, and he's just not that. I'm not sure. Why are you looking at James Reimer?
I wasn't looking at James Reimer.
We had James Reimer chart on the screen.
Yeah, that wasn't on purpose.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to look up
it's not because I don't want John Gibson to succeed. It's more fun when he's playing well. When he's on fire, when he's having the seasons that he's been having, or the saves he can make, it's fun.
And by the way, for anyone wondering, because War09 says can't blame Gibson for his numbers. The defense has been garbage for years. Defense actually was not garbage last year from the metrics that were coming out. Like, the team was not horrible from a defensive perspective.
Even the year before that.
But that's what GSAX is there for. GSAX looks at where the shots are coming from.
They've been like bottom third, like upper end of bottom third. So not good, but not like, they're not the Coyotes or something. Well, yeah, like that.
And the thing is, GSAX is he was negative last year, so he was below what was expected of him.
Like, here's the thing. Here is the thing with John Gibson.
But here's my question: Is John Gibson expected to be a below expected goalie? Basically.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You're coming at this. We're coming at this. We're going at the same target here. You can't be like, oh, John Gibson is amazing when things are going well, and give him all the credit in the world. And then when he doesn't play well, it's never his fault, right? Like, he has some influence on the outcome. He's not just a victim of circumstance.
I mean, I think people forget that after that All-Star game, he had like an 11 or 12 game stretch where he cost the Ducks games.
Yes.
Like, I don't think enough people really addressed that. The Ducks were in. So at the start of the year, the Ducks were. Gibson was fine.
Bonnie is pissed in her chat.
I don't want him gone. I just am whatever. But like at the beginning of the season, Gibson was just fine. He was just like at expected.
Yeah.
And the Ducks were able to really put together a lot of wins. Mm-hmm. And then January, he was outstanding. Like that was vintage.
Yeah,
John Gibson.
He was an all-star.
He was an all-star. Like that run in January pushed him into the all-star game.
Yeah.
And then after that, he had I think 11 straight games, and I'll look it up right now. Of below expected, and significantly so, where he was costing the team games. And so, if you want to look at why the Ducks fell out of the playoff race last year,
John Gibson.
It was John Gibson, and I don't. That's not really controversial.
It's not meant to blame him. It's just that's what happened.
Yeah,
and the Ducks roster was not in the best place. I think, but at that point,
no, that was all before the trade deadline.
No, I'm saying like with COVID, missing guys, things like
fair.
that. Like it wasn't perfect, but. Again, if the assumption is that John Gibson is this great all-star goalie and he's amazing, then why does this keep happening every year? Right? Like if he's so good, then why does it keep happening?
He had 11 straight negative GSAX games from the all-star break into March.
Oh, yeah.
Negative 3 GSAX.
Negative 3.
Negative 2. Like, consistently in the negative 2.
In one game, negative 3 is hard to achieve. So.
Yeah. Like, that's the issue here is that it's... There was that stretch there that really did them in. So
someone is saying that peanut butter M&Ms are the best M&Ms. That is fair.
No, peanut M&Ms.
They are the best. That's what he's saying.
He's saying peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. Oh, yeah, no, peanut M&Ms. You were close, but not
I think
quite
that's
there.
George.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I mean Jacob Larson did play in front of Gibson. Sure.
I don't think he played in front of him last year. Did Larson
was not a Duck last year.
Larson was not a Duck last year.
Yeah. So anyway, look, I think that this year,
pretzel M&Ms, good shout.
This year will be very revealing for the John Gibson debate, as Jake drinks a fake beer. Fake beer.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we've kind of touched on every bit of the roster here. Do you want to do some bold predictions, and then we can do questions?
Sure.
I don't know. What's your fun prediction for the season? Something not like it can be anything.
Fun prediction for the season. Let's go with the Ducks have a top 10 power play, and it's actually sustainable.
Wow. Okay. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, I don't think I can top that. My fun prediction is that Dmitry Kulikov will have a good... I'm just kidding. I think Jamie Drysdale will have a good season. That's the thing I've been touting this whole preseason. I think this is the year he finally takes a step forward. Now as a 20-year-old with 2 seasons of NHL experience, I think this is the year he takes a legitimate step forward. Not just like a points-based step forward, but his overall game.
Yeah. Not so fun prediction?
Not so fun? I think John Gibson's going to be bad again. Not bad, but like I don't think he's going to salvage his reputation this year.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Let's go with this for a bad. Mason McTavish does not win the Calder.
I don't think he will because...
I don't think he's going to be put in positions to where he's going. Granted, I may eat my words because he is on the first power play unit. That may change things. But I just don't think he's going to be consistently put in spots where he's going to be able to produce.
I thought he would have been the leader for the Calder, but now seeing the way they've used him, I just don't think he's... And I think also the way... Mitch Brown touched on this in his article, but the way that he plays, I think it's going to take him a little time to get up to speed in the NHL. So it's okay. I mean, long term, he's still, a top 6 center for this team.
War 09 saying Regenda is going to win the Calder.
Yeah.
That's a...
What would it take? I mean, he'd have to lead the league of rookies in points. Marco Rossi will win the Calder Trophy.
There you go.
Put that in my predictions today for TFP.
Let's do...
Another prediction?
Yeah, let's go off the board. Or let's just say this.
Dallas Higgins? Any Dallas Higgins predictions?
No, let's do this.
Okay.
We did it in our article on the website that went up last week. By the way, go check it out. Mike DeFlorio put together an article for a season preview.
They haven't played one game, according to Bonnie. So should we... They actually have played games, right? Does preseason not count?
Go check out the article from Mike. It was really good on the website for a really in-depth preview.
Yes.
We had our... standings for the Pacific.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want... Here, I will pull it up.
Will I eat crow pie?
I'm going to give you the opportunity...
to recant?
To back off any of these if you want to.
Okay.
And I will do the same.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, they haven't played a game, so why have a podcast? We should just punt. No off-season podcast until the game start. Okay, let's see.
I forgot how dense this article was, Mike.
Okay, here we go. So I have Calgary first. I'm sticking to that hardcore. LA second. I have LA second and Edmonton third. I'm keeping those two in my top 3, but I'm gonna flip them. I'm going LA third.
Okay.
I think Edmonton is gonna be good.
Okay.
Much to your chagrin. Number 4. Man. I'm gonna flip the Ducks to 5th because I have them 4th right now. Sorry, okay. I'm doing it.
I'm just listening.
Vegas 4th, Vegas 4th, Anaheim 5th, and then the bottom stays the same. So Vancouver 6th, Seattle 7th.
You know what's something I did not realize until all of those projection models came out with Vancouver so high?
What?
They were at 90 points last year.
Yeah, they weren't terrible.
For some reason, I didn't remember them finishing above the Ducks. I thought they finished below the Ducks for some random reason.
It's just because when they're bad, it gets blown completely out of proportion because Canadian media.
So, my predictions previously were LA, Calgary, Edmonton, Vegas, Anaheim, Vancouver, Seattle, San Jose. And you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns and stick to that.
Oh.
And this was before
this was a setup. This was a setup.
I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm a man of my word, unlike someone I know.
You literally just said, you can change these if you want.
I'm not going to. And you know what? We're going with that. And I'm going to stick to my guns on this, that the Ducks are going to make the playoffs as with the 5th seed in the Pacific.
Okay.
Because I don't think the Central is very good.
Yes, the Central's not very good.
Although, I guess maybe having said that, the only thing that will hurt the Ducks is that those teams are going to play Chicago and Arizona a bunch.
Yeah, that's an issue. Big issue. It's going to be a fun division, though. We can even go one step further here, zoom out a little bit even more. So for the 4th period, we did our season predictions. And so we're going to go a little off script here.
Okay. But also, I know I said that the Ducks are a fringe playoff team, probably not with their current roster. I'm also being hopeful right now, having said that they are going to make the playoffs. Why not?
Man of his word.
Wishy-washy.
Okay, let's just run through these real quick. Power Hour style. Atlantic Division, who's your champion of that division?
I've done no research on this.
Yeah, you don't get... I'm not going to show you my answers. Taking those away from you.
I'm going to go Toronto. I don't like Florida bringing in Paul Maurice.
Yeah. Okay. I have Toronto as well. Metro.
Who's in the Metro again?
Pittsburgh, Washington, New York.
I'm trying to think about who is going to...
I have Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina. Sorry. That was the team I probably was...
They improved.
Carolina.
Once Max Pacioretty comes back.
I was trying to think about who is probably the best team, and I think it is Carolina.
They're the deepest.
I think they're the deepest. I don't like New York because I think they're way too reliant on Shesterkin. If he's great, they're going to be in a good spot, but that's really all they've got.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, I think, could be good again, but
yeah, they got Jeff Petrie. We'll see. Okay, Central.
Central, it's going to be Colorado winning the division.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of anyone else that had a real shot at it. Pacific, I mean, we both have. Or I have Calgary. You have LA.
I have LA. I think LA is going to be really good this year.
Okay, Jake, Stanley Cup champion.
You know what? I'm going to go pure chaos. Give me the Toronto Maple
That's
Leafs.
who I have too. You saw that on my screen.
No, I actually did not.
Okay, Toronto Maple Leafs, 1967. This will be the Toronto Maple Leafs' first Stanley Cup with color TV. How about that?
There you go. World War 09 said Kreider scores 50 and Igor is the only player they have. You look at the on-ice metrics, they are a team they should not have made the playoffs last year without. If they did not have Shesterkin, who probably was the MVP of the league last year, they would not have made the playoffs.
Okay. So, who is your team in the Stanley Cup final playing the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I want to say Colorado, but that's boring.
Yeah, it's not going to be them.
Let's go.
Do you want me to give you mine?
Sure.
I have Calgary.
No.
This is the ESPN ratings dream final. Calgary, Toronto.
I'm gonna go with. Shit. I don't. You know what? Let's just go.
Ducks?
Let's go all chaos and say the Oilers.
Yeah.
I don't think the Oilers are going to be good.
But they're a playoff type.
But I think the
streaky team.
Well, I also think the Leafs torching Jack Campbell in the Cup final would be kind of funny.
It would be funny. Yeah. Okay, Art Ross Trophy.
Austin Matthews.
Okay, I have McDavid.
Sorry, I was confusing the Richard and the Art Ross, but sure, let's go Matthews for that also.
I have Matthews for Rocket. MVP, Hart Trophy, I have McDavid.
I'm going Matthews. Matthews down the board.
Norris, I have Cale Makar.
Norris, Charlie McAvoy's
John Klingberg.
Charlie McAvoy's not going to play enough to get into that conversation this
Hampus
year.
Lindholm. Now that he's a power play one quarterback.
Hurt?
Oh, is he? No.
Oh, maybe he's back. Oh, yeah, you're right. He is.
He's on the power play. Somehow he's fooled everyone into thinking he could play in the power play. Crazy.
Let's go with, for the Norris, yeah, it's probably Cale Makar.
Cale Makar, Vezina Trophy. There's some challengers here to Igor Shesterkin's throne.
I mean, I think it's probably going to be Shesterkin again.
I have Ilya Sorokin, who was like third in GSAX last year, something like that.
I'm gonna stick with Shesterkin.
Calder Trophy.
Let's go with Matty Beniers. I think Matty Beniers is gonna have the most opportunities.
Okay, I have Marco Rossi. Selke Trophy. I have Philip Danault. LA's gonna be good. He's gonna be
I think that's fair.
Lady Bing. I don't know why I had to pick this, but I said Jacob Slavin.
Most gentlemanly. Let's go with Cam Fowler.
Yeah, I tried to pick Troy Terry. He only had 26 penalty minutes last year, something like that.
There we go, Troy Terry. Sorry, Troy Terry for Selke.
Okay. I mean, he's a winger, though. Okay, so whatever. Yeah. Jack Adams, I have Jay Woodcroft. If the Ducks make the playoffs, Dallas Aikens is in there.
Yeah.
So Dallas Aikens, by your logic.
Sure.
Okay, last two.
I disagree with it, but sure.
Last place team.
Last place team. I think it's going to be the Coyotes. I think...
Not Chicago?
Chicago still has Kane.
Are we sure Kane's that good? He's good at getting points for himself, but I'm not sure he helps his team.
That's a whole hell of a lot more than
sure.
Sure. Like, Kane by himself could probably win the Blackhawks some games.
Who is even on the Coyotes? Oh, well, this leads into my next question, and I have the Coyotes as well. Biggest name traded this season?
Jacob Chikrin.
Yes. Yeah, it's Jacob Chikrin.
So let's see.
Who's on their team?
The Coyotes roster is Clayton Keller, Nick Schmaltz, Lawson Krause, Zach Cassidy,
Nick Ritchie.
There
you go.
Barrett Hayden, Travis Boyd, Christian Fisher, Nick Bukestad,
Dylan Gunther. Hey.
Jack McBain, Matthias Maselli, Liam O'Brien,
God,
Shane Gosselaar, Patrick Nemeth, Yuso Valimaki, Joshua Brown, Troy Stetcher still kicking, Connor Timmins, Dyson Mayo, Janice Moser. Their goaltending of Carol Vizmelka, Connor Ingram,
who they just picked up. Yeah, that is a bad. That is barely an NHL team.
And then Chicago
is. I mean,
they still have Kane. They have Kane, Taves, Tyler Johnson, Andreas,
Max Domi.
Like,
that's a good pickup.
Like, the thing is, like, they're gonna be bad, but they have like some okay players and some guys that
they have Buddy Robinson. Hey,
there you go.
Yeah,
and they still have Seth Jones. Like, I think that if you look at these two rosters, the Coyotes roster is significantly worse.
Fair. Okay. The Sharks sent both Eklund and Bordelot down to San Jose AHL. So the Sharks have a chance at this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into questions.
Questions time.
Questions. So we're going to start with Discord, and then we'll get to Twitch, and we'll go from there. D. Frenzy said, with Eric Stevens coming out and saying the Ducks, are the Ducks doing enough to protect their stars? What do you think on the matter? Seems like Verbeek is prioritizing size a lot. Do you see us becoming more like the big bad Ducks of old? Also, is all right, let's start there.
Well, he made the team, so we don't need the Comtois question. Look, the Delorier thing, right? Do they protect their star players enough? I don't really like this narrative because I don't really think it's backed by a lot of evidence. Like, okay, there was the incident in Arizona where Nick Delorier wasn't, but when Nick Delorier was there, Trevor Zegras got slew-footed.
Cedric Paquette ran him.
Right.
Like that happened with Nick Delorier on the team. They went online, but they put Delorier on the line, and then he still got slew-footed by PK Subban. So the evidence isn't there that stops players from taking runs at Zegras.
Right, because the argument is that it stops it, and it did happen.
And, Cedric Paquette ran him. And, that was with Nick Delorier in the lineup that night. So it's realistically, what are you going to do? The only way this stops and this changes is if the league changes the rules to penalize guys more harshly where they think twice about their pocketbook. Because at the end of the day, maybe this is just me, guys don't give a shit about getting their face punched in. If that gets them a job and a paycheck and that gives them a spot on the lineup, that's all that matters.
They'll do it.
Hit the guys in their pocketbook. That's where they're gonna feel it. They're not gonna feel it
if they can't play.
They don't. They're not gonna give. They'll take getting a punch in the face if it earns them a spot on the lineup and gets them paid NHL money consistently.
I agree.
I just don't think it's a deterrent in any way. It's not gonna make people think twice. It's not gonna do anything. The only way that you do that is by suspending guys for those types of plays and making them lose roster spots, be a detriment on their team.
You also have to rewrite the rule book.
True, and lose money.
Yeah.
But that's the only way that happens. Having tough guys. I mean. People may say we're soft. People may say we don't get it. We've never played the game.
We're allowed. We can have an opinion on this.
We're allowed to have an opinion on it. We both actually have played hockey. We've both played sports our entire lives. We understand the culture behind a lot of it. And
I understand the argument behind it, but it's just when you zoom out, is this actually helping? Well, it doesn't appear to be.
And does this occur in any other sport?
No. Well, in every other sport, fighting gets you suspended right away, right? In the NFL, they've cracked down. The NFL is, this is kind of a separate topic, but the NFL is the most popular entertainment product sports-wise in North America by a big old margin, and that sport took out a big element of physicality that a lot of people watched it for, and it's more popular than ever.
Yeah.
So clearly, your sport's not going to suffer if you take out this element of toughness or fighting or whatever.
And, for anyone saying, have we been in a fight? I played water polo for 13 years. That's a sport where, sure, it may not be a quote-unquote fight, but guys are throwing punches under the water every single game. You get hit every game. That's just, it is what it is. It's part of the sport, and you take that to be able to score goals and get your team moving.
Fighting in hockey is only allowed really at the pro level.
Yeah.
They don't allow fighting in juniors.
And the guy doesn't have to... They do allow fighting in junior, but there's harsher suspensions.
The penalty is harsher, yeah.
But, it's... Yeah. So, I think getting back to the point, you and I both think it's dumb. I think the Ducks don't need to go back to the big bad Ducks of old. This is a very highly skilled team, and they should really lean into that. So, all right. So the other question is from D Frenzy: is Silverberg still an NHLer? He looks in pain when he's out there. True Ducks legend for sure in my books, but is he better than Grimaldi, Regenda, Jones, or Comtois?
I think I want to give him one last shot. Let's see it in a real games.
Yeah.
Before I don't want to write him off yet. But it doesn't look good so far.
Dalton Keys with a great question. Have either of us shot a snot rocket onto the Honda Center ice?
No.
Sadly, I have not.
I can't do the snot rocket
I can't either.
I think I've done it once.
It's also harder with a cage on.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
The Puff said, thoughts on the fact that the Ducks sent out Terry McTavish with Zegras for the 21st Duck thing. By the way, did you see the 21st Duck thing?
No. That was today, right?
They announced it today. It was about a kid who's kind of been fighting. I forget exactly what he's been fighting. Basically surprised him with they asked him essentially who his favorite player was right now. He said Zegras. Right as Zegras, McTavish, and Terry walk onto the bench behind him, and Zegras goes up behind him. And it was just a really cool moment.
That's good.
But yeah, so it was those three specifically sent out. Do you think that we're looking at the long-term leadership core?
Could be.
Yeah,
could be. I could definitely see any one of those three getting the captaincy. So yeah, absolutely.
Lou is not letting you get away with this. He's asking, will you eat some humble pie for being wrong about Pavel Regenda?
Sure. I mean, I admittedly did not watch him play in the World Championship, which is kind of what people were basing the hype around him on. So shame on me. Shame on me. I'll have some of that humble pie.
Jared said, do you think the Ducks will play the entire season with no captain? If you were in charge, who would you nominate?
I think they are. I think Dallas Eakins kind of sort of said it.
They said that they're not going to yet.
Well, no, but there's been a follow-up since that.
Oh, there has?
There has.
Must have missed that.
Yeah. I don't think they are. Based on everything that we're hearing, it just doesn't sound like it. If I was in charge, who would I nominate? I just don't think it's up to me. I think it's up to the guys in the room to figure it out. I actually buy that stuff when it comes to leadership, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be a doubting Thomas there.
I didn't realize it was a biblical reference.
I did not know either. I just want your face photoshopped on Thomas the Tank Engine. Bastardo Verde, a.k.a. Green Bastard, said, I may be too late, but what is the worst soda of all time?
Ooh, Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, no.
It's so bad.
You don't drink soda. You don't get to have an answer to this.
I tried it. It's the worst one I've tried.
I'm going to go with Squirt.
Okay. Isn't that a, it's like a lemon lime
kind of
thing? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I don't know. It was just one. Oh, no, actually, sorry. I'm going to scratch that. RC Cola. RC Cola is garbage.
It squirted into your head? Is that what you're going to say?
No.
It popped into your head? Okay.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Wow. All right.
Oops.
So, time for those of... Mountain Dew is fantastic. I see that there is Mountain Dew...
Pepsi exists? It does, correct. Dr. Pepper is trash. Thank you.
No,
Thank you, Mike.
Stop. All right.
Yes.
So for those of you watching this, yes, we're on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com/crashpond where you can like and subscribe to our channel. We actually had a bunch of comments on there. I see them all. I respond to them when I need to, or if you have a question for me, I'll respond. So check us out there, youtube.com, or if you're listening on your favorite podcast services, you can find us at twitch.tv/crashpond where you can like and where you can follow our channel. Subscribe to the channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime sub each and every month. You do have to hit that subscribe button after 30 days. We did get Ken Pafu resub for 33 months, and he had mentioned this is his glorious month because 33 is Silverberg's number.
Wow.
And we all know that our good friend Tony is Jacob Silverberg.
Wow, this football game is really close. I'm sorry. Continue.
Wow. Dan Grimshaw resubbed for 2 months in a row, 20 months total. Pumped for the start of the season. Glad to be along for the ride with CTP. Shoegaze Dragon Georgie resubscribed for 30 months in a row, 43 total. They're together in the same room. Chicken Taco Salad is resubbed for 13 months. So there we go. So Felix is now having the game up on YouTube TV. I could have put it on the TV if you had asked.
That's true. That's true.
But all right, so get your your questions in the Twitch chat. The Hardcore Luchador said, "I had my headset off. You addressed it, but since Gibson gets so much hate here, at least, who is better that is potentially available?"
Anthony Stolarz. He is on the team. He has played better than John Gibson every year that he's been on the team. I understand that he hasn't played in a starter's workload, but give him a chance. He's shown that he's capable. I actually this is a pride thing. This is an ego thing. If it were purely a meritocracy, I mean, Anthony Stolarz should have the net.
If we're gonna be hard on Gibson for preseason, though, Stolarz has not been good in preseason.
Yes, but Anthony Stolarz has had 2 good regular seasons in a row.
The real question with Stolarz is, can he keep it up with a larger workload?
Well, my whole thing is he doesn't have to play 60 games.
No, but I'm just saying 50.
Go 40-40.
Yeah.
Go 40-40.
All right. Rooch asks, are you guys as surprised as I am with Grimaldi not even getting a contract?
A little bit. Although now with one Brett Leeson joining the fray, maybe not so much. I mean, is Brett Leeson better than Rocco Grimaldi? Doesn't appear to be the case.
I mean, here's the thing. Rocco Grimaldi had a really good preseason. That's what I'm surprised by, is not only from a counting metric or counting stat perspective with goals and assists, but even from an on-ice perspective. He was pretty good for the Ducks.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really surprised by this. I mean, War09 says he's 5'5", and it's sure.
He's not.
But he's 5'6", I think.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, you didn't know he's that short?
He's our height.
Yeah, he's our height. I know. He's a
short king.
Short king from Southern California. Relatable.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah. No, he should have. I mean, he should have made the team.
He should. I think.
But guess what? Brett Leeson's literally almost a foot taller.
Do you think it's odd that they're running 8D, 13 forwards?
Yes, because I look at that blue line and I'm like, you don't need AD if the two extras are going to be one AHLer and Nathan Beaulieu. Like that's the issue.
Yeah, I don't get why Colton White's on this team and Rocco Grimaldi's not.
Right.
That's essentially what this comes down to. Is
unconfirmed on Rocco Grimaldi. I mean,
well, it's not unconfirmed. He's not on the roster.
I'm just saying
he doesn't have a contract.
We don't definitively know he won't be a Duck.
Well, the opening night rosters were due today at 2 p.m. and he was not on them.
Yeah,
so
but he was at practice today.
He could be signed by then and be on the roster for Wednesday's game. But as of opening night rosters being due, he was not on the team.
Yes, there's a very real chance the Raiders are about to beat the Chiefs.
Hardcore Lucha said, is Grimaldi better than White?
Yes.
I mean, he's been better in preseason than White has, so if we're just basing off of guys trying to make the team, granted different positions, but Rocco Grimaldi's been one of the best Ducks in preseason.
I mean, and he's had good NHL results in the past, too. He played all of last year in the AHL, but he's shown that he's had some success in the NHL. It's not as if it's just like a flash in the pan preseason for him. So.
Yeah. Yep. So if anyone else has questions, let us know. Any other weird takes that you want to get off your chest?
Weird takes.
You met my son today?
Yeah, baby Luke.
Yeah, he is not happy today.
He is not happy.
He got shots today. He's been crying ever since I've been home.
I don't blame him. Yeah, weird takes. I don't know. I don't know if I have any. I'm kind of like. I'm not like I can't say I'm like stoked for this season. It's more like I'm just ready to see it. Like I want to see how things play out. Arbor Shakai made the team, the Montreal Canadiens.
I saw that name and I thought he was a soccer player. Looked like
he's a real person.
Whether it
as it turns out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean it's exciting. I think it's exciting that we're still keeping this podcast going, that we still have people listening and chiming in. Who's the first call up from the Ducks? That is a good question here. Or sorry, call up from the Goals.
Hellison.
Ooh. Perot, maybe?
Perot or Hellison, I think.
Perot or Hellison, yeah. I almost said Josh Mahura. Oops. Yeah, sorry, Josh Mahura. No, I'm just kind of like, it's one of those things now where I'm like, we've talked about it so much from every different angle. I just want to see it. I just want to see how it plays out. Oh, you got a question.
Oh, wait, we got a bunch of them. Hardcore Lucha said, what's been like for you guys to spend a bunch of time together? It's been a while, I think. When was the last time I would have seen you would have been in person?
Like a couple months ago. Visited your house.
Yeah, I think that was the last time. It would have been.
But that was like a brief kind of.
Very brief. Yeah. But we hung out the weekend before that.
Yeah.
At the beach.
Oh, that's right. And we golfed. We
went to the driving range. I don't know if I would call going to the driving range golfing.
Okay, sorry. I'm not I'm not in that world. I'm not in that space.
All right, Lyric Al says, how does Felix consistently break my heart?
I don't know what you want me to do, Bonnie. Like,
I mean, you owe her an essay.
Should I just? That's true. But like, am I supposed to ignore the stats? Am I supposed to ignore the evidence that we have here? Like, I don't know what I'm left with.
The information is real.
Right. Like,
trust the science.
I'm not pulling this out of my, I'm not tugging this out of anywhere.
Yep. So. Rooch20 said, question for me. Still salty over the Tottenham Arsenal game? Yes, very much so. That was a dumb red card. Should not have been a red card. That killed the game. Not saying we would have won the game, but it was a stupid red card that should not have actually happened, and then Tottenham could have come back and tied the game. So, stupid game, stupid penalty, stupid result, but that's football.
You mean soccer?
That's football.
That's
also,
soccer.
I saw Dalton Keys had asked if any of us are going to the Wednesday home opener. You will be back up in NorCal.
Yeah.
I will not be going.
Yeah, Seattle Kraken. Do you want to make a prediction for that game?
Really quick, let's get one more question because we have this. Oh. How many games does Dostal play this year with the Ducks?
I'm going to go with 7.
I'm going to go 15.
15? Do you have an Anthony Stolarz post-deadline trade?
That actually was not even what I was thinking.
Or not post-deadline, pre-deadline trade.
Oh, we keep getting questions. 91 Please said, what does he order at Lazy Dog before the home opener on Wednesday?
What's Lazy Dog?
It's a restaurant across the way from Honda Center.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't... I've only been to Lazy Dog once or twice, so I don't know their menu, but let's go with a beer.
A beer. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. Let's go with an IPA. Let's go with a hazy IPA.
Yeah.
There we go. Question for Felix from Rooch. You thinking about going to a Ducks Sharks game up in San Jose this year?
I might. Those Sharks jerseys are nice. I know you don't like...
No.
The away jerseys.
No, the reason why I'm making that face is that I think they are really nice, and it's very frustrating.
And you're jealous.
Yes.
And you're jealous. I get it.
No, that 100% is.
I get it. I'm gonna try to go.
Like,
I don't know. We'll see.
Do the Ducks? No, I was about to say, do the Ducks have the worst jersey in California? No, the Kings jersey is still the worst.
That is a very open question, but I would say that you are correct because I still think that the Ducks have some fun.
The Kings jersey is a practice jersey.
It's so boring.
It's so boring.
There's just literally nothing. Like, if you compare it to the jersey it's based on, which is the Chevron jersey, like, that jersey's arguably even more boring, but there's, like, an iconic feel to it.
The frustrating thing is that all three teams could be, like, three of the best-looking teams in the league.
They once were.
The Sharks now are there. The Ducks could easily go back to the Mighty Ducks jersey and be there. The Kings could go back to their... I honestly think their purple and black jerseys from the mid-2000s.
That's my favorite that they've had.
Oh, it's so easy. So,
yeah.
All right, back to your question about prediction.
For Wednesday.
For Seattle, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 4-2 Ducks.
Wow. 4 goals.
Actually, no. Scratch that. 4-3 Ducks.
Oh, my God. This game. Sorry. I think the Ducks win. I think that they will, like you said, score some goals. 4 goals, sure. I have a Ducks win as well. I don't have a specific score. 5-4 Ducks from Rooch.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Dissolve23 says, are the Ducks the worst jersey in the NHL? Well, I said the Kings jersey is worse.
I know who you would pick for the worst.
Nashville.
Yep. Nashville.
The Ducks are... Here's the thing. The Ducks are in that bottom tier, though.
They are. They're very much in that bottom tier.
Yeah.
Okay. Whose offense is going to score more points, Dallas Eakins or Kyle Shanahan? Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare football to hockey points-wise. I'm going to go with Dallas Eakins.
You know what's a very...
Play to the home crowd.
One thing I want to just briefly mention about this... that
Blue Jackets is bad. Yeah, agreed.
I don't think it's that bad.
They have blue pants now.
Did they not have blue pants before?
They had red pants.
Oh.
That's like the whole thing with them.
Okay. It's always funny to me that like people complain about hockey being a low-scoring game and then people say football is high-scoring or something like that. But... football is just such an arbitrary, scoring system where it's
why is it 6 points?
Well, it's just if you were to take out the, 6 or 7 points, what is it? It's 3-2.
Right.
It's 3 touchdowns to 2 touchdowns.
I don't understand that,
Yet people call it high scoring.
Yeah. Fair point.
Right? It's just so, what was this, 30-29? So, realistically, it was what?
Well, you don't really know.
But it's it's the equivalent of, 4-3.
I don't understand how the Raiders just lost. They had a 4th and 1. Wow, okay. Anyway.
But regardless, it's just a minor pet peeve. Lou, your Raiders suck.
Raiders are trash fire.
All right. I think that's probably going to do it for us tonight.
Yep. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you want to support the show, really easy ways to do that. Number one way, search us on Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating and a review. And if you leave a review, we will read it on the show as Jake pulls up to see if we have new reviews. I don't think we do. We don't. But if you do, we'll read on the show, and they're a lot of fun. People really deliver usually. Another way, though, you can check us out wherever you get podcasts. So Spotify, we're also on YouTube. But really check out our Patreon, patreon.com/crashthepond. For $1 a month, you get access to our Discord server, which is the best. It's just the most fun community, diehard Ducks fans. We have so much fun in there. I spend way too much time in there, to be honest. I would be a lot more productive if that server didn't exist. But that speaks to how much of a thriving place it has become. For $5 a month, you get access to 2 bonus episodes, which we're going to try to do one at some point.
We'll try to do a full... We gave our division winners, but we'll do a breakdown. this is a fun one where we do the divisions. And give our predictions for every division.
So on the bonus episodes, we go more league wide. We do more rankings, things like that. So it's a lot of fun. We're also a bit more unfiltered. And then outside of that, check out our website, crashthepond.com. You can actually get some Crash the Pond gear. We've got cool t-shirts, coffee mugs, stickers, everything you could possibly want. crashthepond.com/shop. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Jake is on Twitter at ReindeerGames91. And I am on Twitter at Felix_Sicard. That is going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Can't believe that this in-person pod has reached a conclusion. Let us know what you think of the in-person format. And that'll be it. Ducks Country. Let's fly.
Bye, I guess. That was awful.